Hello everybody, Flik here, welcome to Let's Chat, my weekly vlog series posted every Monday at lunchtime if you're in the UK. And yes, I sound a bit congested and probably look like I've had no sleep because both those things are basically true. It's quite a bad day for hay fever. I did have an okay night last night, but yeah, the pollen must be very high. Anyway, we are going to go through the comments last week. I think there's about 19 of them, so there's quite a lot. First I wanted to show you this. That. Why am I showing you a box for Final Fantasy XIV? Well, because I've been playing a lot of it and I have been doing some miscellaneous videos of it as well as live streams with CR, so I hope you've seen those. The reason I wanted to show you, I guess it's kind of a special thing, because this is Final Fantasy XIV. This is not Realm Reborn, which is the version I'm playing now. Final Fantasy XIV very famously was shit. This version here, this was one of the worst games I've ever played, not just MMO, just game in general. This was fucking awful. And the dev team didn't listen. They didn't listen to any feedback throughout the beta. They just ignored everybody because they thought they knew what they were doing. And they didn't. They didn't do anything close to what Final Fantasy XI was, and messed up as a result. Now thankfully, rather than just scrap the premise of a Final Fantasy MMO, they sacked the team doing this atrocity, and they took the story that was there, made this big calamity happen, and then turned it into Realm Reborn, where the story picks up as if this still happened, but then it ended apocalyptically. So it was kind of fun. And the biggest plus for the new team that's handling Realm Reborn is they actually made it good. They made it better than Final Fantasy XI in my opinion. Still very addictive, sadly, and I have been playing it an awful lot. But I wanted to show that I do still have the box. I trusted in them. I got the box version of the original version, and it was horrible. Thankfully you could upgrade to Realm Reborn free back when this happened. And you actually got to keep, I think you got like the garland goggles or something, right? With this, oh yeah, along the top there. I still have those in Realm Reborn. Actually, I think my retainer is wearing them if I remember correctly. The armory system, change your job whenever, that wasn't really a big thing at all. It's much better handled now. Guild leaves, they thought guild leaves was an acceptable alternative to having a proper story other than like once every 20 levels. I'm so glad. It's a good system when you're farming classes, like you're not playing a primary one and you just want to level something else up. They're great for that. It's a very good idea. Not for a main story, so I'm glad the new team actually put plot in as well, because the story is very, very good in Realm Reborn. And I'm into the Heavensward expansion content now, and it's still proving very interesting. There was like a 45-minute cutscene that bridged the final patch that added story missions to Heavensward. It was like a mini movie. It was great. So I wanted to show I have that, and to explain that I am playing it quite a lot, more than I would like. I don't like subscribing to MMOs because one of two things happen. I get heavily addicted, which is the case right now, or I focus on work, and as a result I don't play the thing I'm subscribing to monthly a lot, and then I think to myself, well, why am I paying monthly for something that I'm not putting in monthly time to? So what Realm Reborn does, that I think WoW does as well now, that's very clever, is lets you buy a bulk of time in advance. So rather than feel like you are subscribing monthly, it's more like a yearly fee, or, you know, half a year, say. So it feels less like a monthly subscription, pardon me, and more like you've just paid the equivalent of a next-gen game. So as long as you get, say, 15 hours, you've technically got today's value, which isn't good, necessarily. But that's how I justified it to myself. That and the summer being quite slow. I see myself playing Realm Reborn for into August, at the very least. Most likely closer towards the end of the year when stuff starts coming out again. It's very good, I recommend it, if you don't mind that it does obviously do MMO stuff. It's got a lot of good stories, it's got a lot of funny quests and whatnot in it, but it does also have the trappings of you have to grind. It's an MMO, that's part of the point. So as long as you keep that in mind. It's on PS4 as well as PC as well. You would need a reasonably good PC to run it, I think. At least comparable with PS4, I guess. But anyway, if you are interested, I might be recording some more random videos of it. And I'm sure we'll be streaming it with CR and some other people as well. So anyway, on to the comments. Jason and Nino says, I got Arkham Knight. And it's his first Arkham game, so he had no idea what was going on. Spent like 10 minutes on the first intro cutscene with a certain person on a table. Oh yeah, the game starts with you playing as a random cop first person, yes. Show says Jurassic World is not that bad. It's entertaining but nothing special. That's a shame. The plot is very foreseeable, although I quite like the dinosaurs are animals, not your lab toys or things to make money with. However, the new product was a little ridiculous, abilities-wise. They've all the films had that dinosaurs shouldn't be a theme park. That's the recurring theme between all of them. And then you did a couple of comments saying that you actually misspelled a few things. That's totally fine. So you said it's entertaining but nothing special. Although then Jason Eno commented again to say it was very well done. It made up tremendously for the other two movies sucking so much. It wouldn't be hard to be better than Jurassic Park 2 and 3. 2, 3? Yeah, this is the fourth one, right? I have seen them, but they just kind of blend together. They redid the original story with a twist and it was told well. Dragonaka said beard, which has been rated up 3 times. And then as for Disgaea, Murica. Not sure what you mean by that. Oh, the thing about it, the special edition not being in Europe. DRC97 had a read more button. I pressed it in preparation for reading his entire comment. There's just a big bunch of empty space and then quack, that is all. But before that he did have a question. What would you do if you were surrounded by a horde of... This is very similar to a question I've been posed before. If you were surrounded by a horde of Giganoxes and Chattas who were slowly... I've had this exact question from you. I'm almost certain I have, and I've read it out. Chanting one of us, one of us. Yeah, you've definitely said that before. I'm not going insane, I've read this before. So we'll skip that and move on. If you could be a character in a game, manga, anime or movie, what type of character would you be? Something with a scythe? Probably? Or a greatsword, that would do as well. Is that my phone vibrating there? No. I can't think of any specifics that I would rather be right now. Anyone with a scythe, essentially. Why not death itself? That's a little OP though. Creating Beyond Limits, this is a new commenter I believe. I can't wait for Dark Souls 3, just hope it's not rushed. I love Dark Souls 1 and number 2 was good, but not amazing as 1. Great video man, thank you, I shall thumb that up. I disagree with your opinion on Dark Souls 1 and 2, but that's okay. Tracovian says the E-Team is working on Dark Souls 3, but Sony approached Miyazaki with an exclusive deal for PlayStation, in other words Bloodborne, so they put it on hold. So they were making Dark Souls 3 quite a while ago. They stopped to do Bloodborne in the interim, and then they went back to it. Do you have a source on that, just to make sure? I'm not calling you a liar, I just want to see, hear it from Miyazaki. Grinning Owl is next. DeviantArt is basically just a site for people to post art on. I used to have one a long time ago, but I left after disagreement with some of their staff on about dealing with particular IP that kept busting into my account, mostly full of 12 or 13 year olds posting random nonsense with occasional professional freelancers using it as a method of showing what they can do. But you left because someone kept hacking you? That doesn't sound very good. Also, Dark Souls 3 hype has turned into Dark Souls 3 confusion. Yes, me too. Mikhail McGuinness, will you be covering Fallout 4 on the channel like a Let's Play or just random videos? I'll do a Let's Look At, which will be like a, well, depending on how much of the game I've played. If it's a few hours, it'll be first impressions. If I've finished the main story, at the very least, it'll be a review. I'll do that at least. As for a full playthrough, if I'm able to live stream by then, I probably would. If I can't by then, and I really hope I can, but if I can't, probably not, because it'd be too long. But if I did it in at least hour-long chunks of a live stream where there's constant interaction with an audience, that appeals to me. But half-hour videos of me just talking to myself, most of the time I'd just be listening to what's being said in the game, so we'll see. If I can live stream, yes. If I can't, no. That's the long and short of it. Another new commenter, I think, or maybe just a rare one, Bjorn Jensen. Hello Ian, hope everything is well. Judging from your Let's Chats, this seems to be the case. Yeah, I'm okay, besides hay fever and lack of sleep. That isn't from Final Fantasy, by the way. That is from lightning storms plus having a scaredy cat dog. I'm not sure if this question has been brought up earlier, but here goes. Do you regard video games as art, or rather an art form? If so, why? If not, why not? Also, with the improving graphics and cost in production, do you think we will see a larger divide in the industry, like now with indie games and AAA titles? There already is a divide because most indie games go for retro looks because they're cheaper and easier to do if you haven't got the resources. Is the divide going to get bigger between indie games and AAA? Yeah, I think so. As the base for graphics and hardware goes higher, retro style is probably not going to leave indie games, because indie games are often made by people who are into that kind of thing, that grew up with the old type of games. In the future that might change, but there's always going to be the issue of money. And even with stuff like Kickstarter, I don't think indie devs are going to be able to keep up with the graphical fidelity the AAA developers strive for. Assuming they can even achieve that. Sorry, to answer your first question, are video games art? If they are art, if you want them to be. Art is entirely subjective. If you think that this mint in this perfectly clear wrapper is artistic because it's see-through and clean and catches the light if I hover it around about here-ish, then you're right. If you look at this and say, what the hell are you talking about? It's just a sweetie in a wrapper, that's not art. You're also right. Art is subjective. I don't care what people think are art and what isn't. Just like you shouldn't care what I think is art and what isn't. My personal opinion on whether or not games can be art is yes, they absolutely can be. And I don't think people who say otherwise are right, but they're entitled to their opinion. Art is whatever you make it. That's my opinion on art in general. A scribble on a bit of paper can be art. A messy bedroom can be art. A packet of crisps blowing in the wind can be art. Games can be art. Movies can be art. Books. It's up to you. If you think something is art, then it's art. If you think something isn't, then it isn't. By your standards. So, that's my opinion on anything being an art form. Red Knight is next, says, yeah, that's what I meant in... See, this is difficult because you're obviously replying to something last week, and I can't remember what. In the basic sense, but you could always expand... Oh wait, you suggested like a series or something where people suggested what to play? Or was that the one where people suggested things to have in a list? I can't remember. One of those two things. Please give... Do you mean Reciteer here, that game? I try, I forget spelling because I gave it a look a while back and it seems like a good game. How much are they asking for that? Let me just double check here. Can't remember how to spell it. Reciteer, like that? Nope, that's not how you spell it. Come on, Steam, autofill this and find it for me. Oh, there we are. I almost spelled it right. It's tear as in like crying. That's, I thought it was T-E-R. Oh, it's $12.99. It's actually quite expensive for a game that looks like it's in the resolution of Isaac because it's got borders on the sides. Reasonably good anime art. I wonder if they had more than one artist, because I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th picture on the Steam store. The little girl on the left and the guy on the right, they look like they've been drawn by different artists, in my opinion. I might be wrong. And then there's also the Bicarp Fulgur collection. Alright, that's the developer. I will look for it in a sale. $12.99 seems a bit steep for a game I may not like. Although it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews, I just noticed. 97% out of 3,132. I'll look for it in a sale. There is a demo as well, but right now I'm not sure I have the time. I have a lot of backlogged emails to get through. Anyway, a few more comments to go and then that'll be it. The Deadpool Warrior says the new Jurassic Park is awesome. I loved it, but there were 3 or 4 issues I had with it. But then I still loved it. I'm not going to say due to spoilers, which is good. Or why it's a shit ending, which I like. They're saying it's bad because of the tiny things, which I think are quite good. Also, this Jurassic Park has the best character development out of all the Jurassic Park movies. I don't think the point of the Jurassic Park movie, the first one I'm talking about here, was character development, but I suppose it's good that it has them. The Real McCoy says, Yen or Triss, assuming you've reached the relative points in the game. Yen has the accent, but Triss rocks the redhead look very well. I have to say I messed up and was more than disappointed than I have ever been with real females, and that says a lot. This is in relation rather to The Witcher. The 2 love interests for Geralt is Yennefer and Triss. Yennefer is a stuck-up bitch, so I don't like her at all. She's incredibly arrogant and basically does nothing and is willing to be immoral for her own benefit, so I don't like her at all. Triss is a bit, how to describe it? She acts immature, which I don't like either, but she's nicer. Although actually I remember reading on, I think it was just on the gaming subreddit, apparently in the source material in the books, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler here, so skip 30 seconds if you don't want Witcher spoilers. I don't think it relates to Witcher 3 at all, but apparently in the books Yennefer was Geralt's love, and then he gets... Oh, my picture stopped. Oi, camera. 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 You're not working, are you? Oh, there we are. I'm back. That was weird. I'm glad I looked. As I was saying, Geralt and Yennefer are together. Geralt gets amnesia, and then this is in the game, sorry. And then he falls for Triss because he's forgotten Yennefer, and then they have a relationship, but then he finds Yennefer again and gets back with her. In the books, apparently, Triss uses magic to make Geralt love her. So if that's the case, then she's a bit of a bitch as well. Although in general, sorceresses are manipulative whores in the Witcher universe, so they both kind of have that little power trip in the background. But talking about the way they're presented in the games, I find Triss far more likeable. Yennefer irritates me, quite frankly. Which is a shame because her element of magic is lightning, whereas Triss's is fire. But whatever. Anyway, the final comment is from Todd Sevor. Not entirely sure if you already mentioned this or not, but is Ark going to be a daily series or an every other day series? Also loving both the Monster Hunter series that you have going on. I think you're doing exceptionally well on both. Thank you very much. This is actually something I'm going to bring up in the Ark episode that I'm going to record right after this, in fact. If it's going to be an every day series, then I obviously need to record a lot in advance, which means I will not respond to comments and advice I get for quite a few parts, which may lead to people getting frustrated thinking that I'm ignoring them. Like, for example, the first 4 parts are littered with people spamming, don't you realise that you should use a hatchet and a pickaxe because you get different stuff based on what you're using. Obviously now I do, but there was a space where I didn't read the comments, so I didn't know. So people will have to be forgiving if it's to be a daily series because there will be a backlog, so I won't be able to react to advice. Or I could keep it as an every other day series, or maybe every other day, and that means I will be able to react to feedback as soon as I get it, almost. I'm going to pitch that to people who watch the series, so I would encourage you to listen for, I think it'll be parts, let me check actually. I'll go bright for a second. Yeah, it'll be part 7. So in the comments of part 7 you can let me know your preferred way for handling the series. If it's a daily series, you have to be willing to put up with the fact that I won't respond to advice for like say 4 parts in general. So that's what I'm going to pitch when I go record more right now. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. And oh, I forgot to do Patreon shoutouts and I haven't got them ready. I will do that next week. I will do it next week. I will remember. I will have a proper list and I will indulge in thanking people very graciously for their support. But, you know, here's a small thank you for now. I'll do the proper shoutouts next time. Pardon me again. I've just ruined the moment. See you next week. Ta-ta for now.